Everybody, and good Tuesday evening. It's Weather for Weather Geeks time. Today played out pretty much as expected. We had a little more sunshine this morning than I was bargaining for, but the clouds did, as expected, roll in during the midday and afternoon, and that lowering cloud deck did lead to a little precipitation late in the afternoon and early this evening. Let's start out with a calendar view of our high temperatures so far this month. Our second consecutive cooler than average day today, but of course that's kind of been the exception this month. It's been a balmy November overall, about 5 degrees warmer than the average, and through the first 24 days of the month, we're in 7th place right now on the list of warmest Novembers on record. I think when all is said and done, by the time we flip the calendar early next week, we'll be probably in the top 5 as far as warmest Novembers on record, because daytime highs and overnight lows will continue to be kind of elevated, I think, through the Thanksgiving holiday weekend and into Sunday night and into Monday. As of this recording at 6:25, we have this band of precipitation that has pushed through now. This looks kind of ominous on the radar out across Mercer County, but a lot of this is light rain, some sleet pellets and snowflakes trying to mix in. Sometimes when we have these situations where temperatures are down here at the ground in the lower 40s, and you have some precipitation pushing through, and there's some dry air in the lower levels, sometimes you get some sleet pellets that try to mix in, and sometimes that presents itself on the radar as really heavy rain, bright echoes on the radar. And that's a lot of times what we call bright banding, where the radar beam is hitting those larger things in the clouds and below the clouds, and it returns a brighter color on the radar, but it's not heavy rain that it's picking up on. It's the presence of some ice and some snow pellets, snow grains that are falling out of the clouds. All of this is pushing out to the east. By the time most of you are watching this, it will be long gone. We'll get into a dry slot for the overnight hours, but here's tomorrow's rainmaker out across the Midwest. Raining this evening, St. Louis, into Springfield and Chicago, and this is our ghost of Christmas future here as we go into the second half of the day on our Wednesday. Not hard to find where there's a warm front this evening. The warm front situated across the lower Ohio River Valley, close to 40 here locally, but it's near 50 in Lexington, Kentucky, and near 60 in Nashville. And while we're not going to see 60 around here, it will be somewhat milder tomorrow into tomorrow night. Hourly rain chances break down like this on Wednesday. Elevated by midday and about 100% for most of the afternoon. It's just going to turn out to be kind of a gloomy, damp second half of the day. Wednesday, final day of the work week for many this week, of course, with Thanksgiving on Thursday, and your trip home from work, if you're still going to the office or any of our other local establishments, workplaces, be a little bit soggy later on Wednesday. All right, so here's our model showing the rain pushing in right around midday, rainy through the afternoon. Now, this will become a little more scattered or intermittent in nature as we go into Wednesday night. And then for Thanksgiving on Thursday, it's not going to be just raining all day, but it is going to be cloudy all day. And under this low-hanging deck of stratus and stratocumulus clouds, occasionally I think there's going to be a little light rain and some drizzle, particularly before maybe noon or 1 o'clock. But even after that, I can't rule out a few raindrops as we get into the afternoon. Actually, we'll hang on to this low cloud deck underneath an inversion through Friday morning. By Friday afternoon, models are indicating that we're going to start to mix out some of this saturated air in the low levels, meaning I think there'll be some sun before Friday is through. All right, if you have a personal weather station or a home rain gauge, by the time you empty that thing out on Thursday, we're probably looking at a fresh 1/2 inch to 2/3 of an inch worth of rain. Here's our model spread. Pretty good agreement right now, right around 0.5, 0.6, maybe up to 0.7. All right, a look at recent Thanksgivings last year, and actually the last few years have been pretty chilly. Only 38 last year, 27 in 2018. We've had some trace amounts of snow over the last couple of years on Thanksgiving Day. 39 in 2017. Back earlier last decade, we had some warmer ones, 63 in 2015. Our warmest on record, 1941 at 68, and the coldest high temperature on record for Thanksgiving 7 years ago, back in 2013. All right, let's talk about next week. There's been some model intrigue over the last couple of days with a kind of an anomalous pattern, a little more like El Nino, really, rather than La Nina, early next week. And what we mean by that is there'll be an active southern branch of the jet stream, which is kind of more typical of El Nino rather than La Nina. But even in a winter that's primarily governed by La Nina, you can have these periods, these 5 or 7 day periods mixed in, where it's not very La Nina-ish, and that happens in El Nino winters as well. And next week's a good example of that. So you've got this active southern branch of the jet, and there's probably going to be a pretty potent low pressure system moving through the region As we flip the calendar over into December, Monday and into Tuesday, now this is just one run of one model, one simulation. Don't take this as verbatim or the gospel. This is the European model by Monday morning, strong low pressure. We'll be on the warm side of things according to this model most of the day Monday, so this is rain. And then as that low scoots off to the north and kind of fills in a little bit, so we get on the backside, the more cyclonic flow, and we get to colder air in time for Tuesday, and there'll be some snow showers. Now, that's if this track of this storm is right on this particular run of this particular model. A week out, don't bank on this being exactly what's going to happen. But there's going to be some intrigue early next week with the potential for somewhere across the Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley, for accumulating snow. But we don't know where it's going to be yet. And even if the European has exactly the right idea, this is a snow showery, gusty wind kind of a day Tuesday, but not the kind of a day that's likely to bring appreciable heavy amounts of snow to our region, if this were to be exactly right. Here's a look at our snow forecast on the models, and I forgot that it's been a while since I've shown this graphic. I forget that at this time every day the GFS ensemble does this weird thing where it jumps like this. I have no idea why it does that, but I remember this from last winter, so ignore that. Other modeling right now is not particularly enthused with any sort of big accumulations here early next week. This runs through next Tuesday. European and the GFS, both with fairly negligible amounts. But again, we're just speculating at this point. At this point, we can say there's going to be some sort of a system that's going to impact the region early next week, but the details will be ironed out as we get a little bit closer. That's it for tonight's Weather for Weather Geeks. Thank you as always for watching. I'll see you back here for one more edition of this video on Wednesday, and then I am off on Thanksgiving and on Friday. Have a great night.